Hello plant collectors from the world, my name is Marimar. Bienvenidos to Flowers of the Sea. Today I have a special guest with me, my 2-year-old daughter Ivana. Say hi, Ivana. Okay, she said hi. So I want to repot these 3 plants right here. I have an Anthurium. This is an Anthurium andreanum. This is an Epiccia. Oh, Epiccias, I love them. And here I have a begonia, Syngonium berry Allusion. So these 3 Syngoniums are going to be repotted today. So my beautiful daughter Ivana is gonna be with me today because, you know, life with a 2-year-old, you have to do what you can. So let's get started, and I'm just gonna talk about the plants, and if that is boring to you, I'm sorry. And if you're a crazy plant person like myself, then welcome and let's enjoy it together. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so now that we have a overview, let me talk to you about this new Epiccia that I've got. This Epiccia, I got it on eBay. And the listing said that it was a no ID. It means that the person that was selling this knew that it was an Epiccia, but didn't know the name of the variety. So, being a little bit obsessed with Epiccias, I kinda know that this plant resembles a butternut Epiccia.
Wait.
So Epiccias are often sold. So Epiccias are often sold as cuttings, and they're put in moss, those white styrofoam things that float everywhere, and whatever the grower can sell it for the cheapest thing, so it's gonna grow it. So all of the Epiccias that I have ever got are just one cutting, like just one or this one, but this plant is got 2. So what I'm gonna do, as an obsessive plant propagator like myself, I'm gonna put this in 2 containers, 1 in each one. So at first I thought I'm not gonna put it just in this one, but this Epiccia is gonna grow this container very fast, and I want to keep the plant small because I want it to be near my window, and I do not have space for a big pot on my window, so that's why I choose these 2. So this is a red pot that I got with the Anthurium, and I painted white, very bad painted, but that's gonna do. It's good enough. And I have this cute, so I found this mug on TJ Maxx, and it's adorable. It's the cutest thing ever. It's like a Volkswagen van. And it says, "Not all who wander are lost." How cute! Beautiful. So I saw it and I thought, planter! Of course. So I'm gonna put 1 cutting here and 1 cutting here. And for that, I'm gonna need my bots. So this Epiccia has come in this, what it looks like this, like a those things were used to find gelatin and peach, that side of things. So this is not soil. This is, let me zoom. This is just the cheapest growing medium that the grower could find to sell this. So this is not the ideal growing medium for Epiccias. We're gonna take it off. So immediately 1 cutting is coming out, and I can see that the cutting does not have many roots, and this kind of pine thing is attached to the roots, which is not ideal because this will mold very easy. So I don't know why they do this. Like, this is attached to the roots. Oh goodness, no. So I'm gonna leave it like this. This is the first cutting. This cutting I'm gonna take as much as I can. So Episcias like bright light, but they do not like high temperatures. Like I have been growing Episcias on both as an indoor house plant and as a patio plant, and I can tell you that the plant does not like the heat from the patio. It does better here on the inside, so I'm gonna keep both these plants as house plants. Oh goodness, I forgot the soil. Okay, so we're back with soil, and Ivana is not ready to wash the bees, so sorry for the noise in the background. Anyway, so I'm gonna plant the smallest cotton, which is this one, in the band mug. So a little bit more soil, a little bit more, and of course, salud. This planter does not have any holes for drainage, but that's actually something that I like, because I don't like when water kind of gets wasted. So I feel that when containers have drainage hole, they kind of waste the water. So this one's ready, and now I'm gonna put the largest cutting in this planter. I do not know many Episcia collectors here in the United States. Like, there's a very small community with Episcia lovers. Like, there's that big Hoya community, and there's the big kind of aroid or arum collectors. But Episcia, most Episcia fans are in Europe, like Russia, and we need to build a Episcia community here in the United States. Or if you're from anywhere in the world and you like Episcias, then welcome to my channel, because yeah, I love Episcias. So Episcias need any kind of regular soil, as long as like for regular houseplants. This container does not have any drainage holes either, and that's the way I prefer containers. I will say that 80% of my plants are in containers without holes, and they seem to do just fine, mainly because I'm not an overwaterer person, and from time to time I use tap water, and then I use rainwater that I collect. So that's that. So here I have the first planter with one cutting of an Episcia, and here I have the smaller cutting in this band mug, and they're ready. Okay, so now it's time to repot this beautiful Very Allusion Syngonium. So this Very Allusion Syngonium main color is green, and the center has kind of like a pink margin in the center. But the newest leaves have come very, very pink. Like, look at this leaf. It's like the pink is taken off. So initially I wanted to put this on the Van mug that I just put the Episcia, but it's really a little bit bigger, not so much. I already propagated this twice. One it's on my cactus planter, and the other one's growing in water culture. So this is gonna go in this pot. This is an empty pot, and let's do that. With this plant, I have had zero problems. It's like a perfect house plant. Seriously, Syngoniums are very like relaxed. They cause no troubles to anybody. They just want to let it be. And from time to time, I get those kind of black pests on the stems, and I really lost a Syngonium because of the pest that I don't know the name of. They're like black dots that stop growing in the stems. And when I first got my first Syngonium, I did not know what to do, and I got a little bit desperate. And what I decided to do is that I was going to get rid of the plant. Right now, of course, I kind of regret it because I know now how to take care of that. I just use, oh my, look at this. I didn't see this. So the roots are starting to come out of the pot, and they're kind of attaching to the container. So I'm gonna need to move this. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull them just like this. Okay. There they are. Not like super large, but at least something. So that's gonna go here. And you know, a few years ago I used to be fan of plants that got very big. Like I wanted a lot of Allusions, a lot of plants that kind of grow very tall, and I still have some of those. But right now, in the stage that I am with in my life, I just want plants that stay small. Like I just want plants that kind of stay compact, and that's what I'm gonna going for with the Syngoniums. Well, good morning to me. It's the next day. Yesterday I couldn't finish repotting this Anthurium andreanum because Ivana was getting very agitated, so I postponed it until today when she's still asleep. So let me talk to you about this beautiful Anthurium. First, I'm gonna take it out of this candle holder. So there it is. This Anthurium andreano honestly looks really good on the candle holder, and that's the reason why I want to keep this pot, because this pot size fits really nice in here. However, I can see that this container, the size of this container, is not ideal. Like it's too small for this type of plant. This plant gets really big, and although I have mentioned before that I want to keep my plants small for the longest time possible, because I want to keep like a lot of them in small spaces. Like I don't have enough space to have many plants, so I want to keep plants compact. I know this plant eventually is gonna be stressed if I keep it in this type of containers. And right now I don't see any roots coming through the holes, but I also want to try growing Anthuriums, especially Anthurium andreanum, in water culture, because water culture is something that I really like. And I saw a video of in Karina's channel, I'm sure you know Karina's channel, that she made an experiment with two Anthuriums. One was growing in regular soil and the other one was growing in water culture. So that's what I want to try today. Most Anthuriums that you see in nurseries have two different plants because that's the way they sell them. So I'm gonna start. So, oh goodness, oh Lord, what is that? Oy, that was scary. I wasn't expecting these roots. So this was just put in here like this, and this was in a smaller pot. So what I can see now from watching this awful root system is that the plant was before in an even smaller pot, like about here was the top, and that was repotted into this container. That's why the roots aren't attached to it yet. Oh goodness, that root system was root bound in the other place where it was. Oh, wow. Red root systems. I've never seen those before. Maybe because the plant has been hybridized into have this hot pink color. Well, it's kind of like a hot pink or purple. To me, it looks more purple, but I guess in camera it looks more hot pink. So, wow, red root system. So if I take all of the soil, I think the plant was in this size of a pot, which is sad because Anthuriums need a lot of space. So it has recently been upgraded into this tiny pot, which is still small for me. So the roots are very tight. So this is gonna be hard to divide. Wow. This type of Anthurium needs a lot of light. I know it because of the shape of the leaves. Anthuriums that have this kind of arrow shape require more light than Anthurium andrianums with heart-shaped leaves. Heart-shaped leaves Anthuriums need about very bright light to flower, but they don't necessarily need a few hours of sun. So this Anthurium needs a few hours of sun to flower. And because of that, I'm gonna have to have, oh goodness. So I lost a few leaves in here, but we have divided these two plants. So mission accomplished, I guess. So, can you please focus? I cannot touch the sensor. Thank you. So this Anthurium, which one is the one that has the more roots? I think this is the one with more roots. So I'm gonna keep this in soil. This one in soil. And I'm gonna remove all the dirt from this one because this is the one that's going to go into water culture. So something very weird about this plant, as I mentioned, is the red roots. I've never seen before on Anthurium andrianums, and I have a lot of them. So this plant, as I mentioned, because of the shape of the leaf, needs a few hours of direct sunlight to bloom. I'm gonna have to put this under a grow light, which is not ideal when you want to display flowers. But for the fun of just doing it, I'm up for the challenge. So when you're going to transplant a plant from soil into water culture, why this is not focusing? I think I chose the wrong background because the camera is trying to focus on the plants on the background. Anyway, so when you're trying to put a plant from regular soil into water culture, if you break one or two roots, it's not that bad because the plant is gonna grow brand new roots that are more adaptable to growing in water than in soil. And roots in water grow faster than in soil, so I'm not too worried about that. And also I'm not too worried about not removing all of the dirt because little by little the dirt is removed. But I'm gonna wash this in the sink and I'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back, and this is the most I was able to remove the soil from without actually destroying the whole root system. So it is okay if we lose a few roots, but not to completely get rid of the roots because we still need a few. So this is good enough. And I'm gonna show you the container that I'm gonna use. So I chose this beautiful vase that I've got at the Dollar General, something like that. Initially I wanted to put the whole plant in this because this is really big and it should be able to host the whole root system of this big plant together. However, the mouth of the vase is quite narrow, so I decided that that wasn't going to be the case. Like this is how the plant should look like. So perfect. Actually, I was afraid the plant was going to look very small once I divided it, but it looks a very good size, to be honest. So let me put the pebbles. So what I'm gonna use are these cheap gems that I also got at the dollar store, some of the dollar stores. And it's important to use stones or gems that are kind of round, that don't have kind of pointy corners, because the pointy corners can harm the roots. So the smoother the stones, the better, because this way the roots can go through them and not necessarily harm the plant. So since this root system is gonna go about here, I'm gonna need to fill this whole thing with pebbles. So this is not gonna be enough. And let me go find more pebbles because I have a bunch of them. So just give me a second. So I went through my rock collection and I found a few rose quartz stones. I also found more kind of aquarium stones. And I found a type of stones or rocks that I'm gonna show you that you shouldn't use for water culture. So these rocks have kind of pointy edges. If you can see, these types of rocks aren't good for water culture. So whenever you try water culture, try to avoid this type of rocks because they can harm the roots. They can cut the roots. That is something we don't want. So for this project, we're gonna use regular gems, and I'm gonna use a few of these big pretty rose quartz stones that I have used in one of my other water culture projects, the Aglaonema Lady Valentine one. So I'm gonna use this just at the bottom. So let me put you out for a moment. Thank you, darling. You can rest here. And I'm gonna place them. Oh goodness. So since this mouth is very narrow, I'm gonna need those kind of clamp things. I don't know what's the name in English. Let me go get one of those because obviously I'm very unprepared. So I went to the kitchen and got myself a pair of these bad boys. So we're gonna start putting the stones at the bottom. And you know, this should be obvious, but of course be careful because this is real glass, and something that is real glass, it can always break, and we don't want that. Especially since I'm always on the hunt for kind of pink purple bases, and for me they're not that easy to find. Water culture is one of the funniest and most interesting things to do when you have houseplants. So I highly recommend at least growing one plant in water culture, because seeing the root system and kind of experience growing something that is not supposed to grow in water is a fun thing to do when you're into plants and when you want to kind of grow plants in different mediums. It's always something very fun. And I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 plants. With this gonna be 5 plants in water culture. So definitely something that I love. So I'm gonna keep the light stones, you know, this transparent kind of stones at the bottom, because also this base is kind of ombre looking. So I'm gonna keep all of the light color stones here, and then I'm gonna go with this kind of dark color stones up here. Ideally I would have used only light stones, but since I forgot to buy more, we're gonna use what we have. Okay, since these stones are lighter, I think it's okay to use drop them like this. So if that wasn't noisy, I don't know what it is. And now I'm gonna use the rest of the light stones. So I ran out of stones, I ran out of gems, and this is all of the ones that I could find in my house. And as you can see, we'll still have a lot of room left, so I'm gonna use the last rose quartz stones that I have just to hold in place the plant itself. So this is, let me see, even a shell. This is the front, and I'm gonna put one stone there, one stone here. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna leave this like this for now, and I'm gonna buy more stones, and eventually I'm gonna refill it. But for now, as a vase, this is really good, and I'm gonna fill with water this container, and then it's gonna be done for now. But eventually I'm gonna buy more stones, and I'm gonna fill it up here. So that is how this container is gonna look. So let me refill it. So this big girl is done. This is the way she looks, and I'm really pleased with the way the vase looks, with all these different stones and the different colors, the different shapes. I think they look really good. And of course, I still need a few more stones in the root area, but eventually those roots are gonna come downwards, and we're gonna be able to see that. But for now, this is how the plant is gonna stay. I ordered my rose quartz stones from eBay, so that's gonna take about a week, and I cannot wait a week to put this plant in water. So the plant is already in water. I'm gonna fertilize this plant in about 2 days once the root. First thing when you put a plant from soil to water is to leave the plant alone in water. Plants that grow in water culture need more fertilizer than regular plants in soil. But if I put the plant in water and then immediately fertilize the plant, the roots are gonna get burned, and it's not gonna be good for anybody. So I'm gonna leave the root alone for about 2 to 3 days, and then I'm gonna start fertilizing so the plant can grow happy. So this is how this Anthurium kinda end up looking, and I really like it. So let me put this aside. Okay, so now I have to put the other half in here, and this is gonna go in the candle holder. So this pot, I think, is still small for this plant, but now that there's only one half of the root system here, it should be enough space for this plant to last here for about a year and a half, maximum 2 years. So in 2 years I have to repot this. I already left the soil that the pot came with in the bottom, and right now it's just a case of refilling it. I wish I could tell you that this plant is gonna be happy here, but it's just a temporal house for this Anthurium andreanum arrow-shaped leaf. This plant, as I mentioned, needs like 2 to 3 hours to bloom, otherwise it's not gonna bloom. And it's not the ideal Anthurium for indoor houseplants. As an indoor houseplant, the Anthurium andreanum heart-shaped leaf are a better option. But as someone who loves Anthurium and the challenge of making them bloom, I think this will do fine. And also, as a comparison from the soil to the water culture one, I think it's gonna be good. So that's enough for this plant. And this candle holder, but it's so beautiful because it has this kind of shimmery, glittery leaves and these flowers, and it's adorable. Candle holders that have this kind of pedestal or support look very good with flowering plants, and I think this looks really good. So let me put the two Anthuriums together as a comparison. So here we have two Anthuriums, one growing in water culture and the other one growing in regular soil. Of course, I'll make updates about these plants, how they do, if they like it, if they don't. So far, all the plants that I have kept in water culture have liked it. I have never put a plant out of water culture, but I have put plants out of the containers when they don't like it. But since this was the pot in which the plant came, I don't think that we should have any problems with this. So these are my now 2 plants. I should say that I was worried the plant was going to look very small when I divided them. But honestly, they look really good separate. They don't look that empty. And we're gonna see what happens with these 2 Anthuriums. So thank you so much, you guys, for spending time with me. I know this repotting was a mess. This was my first ever video repotting something. And I just wanted to share it with my brand new plant collector friends. So thank you so much. And I see you next time. Bye bye. What are nuts, Episcias? Papi. I honestly don't know what I was thinking when I decided to record this with Ivana.